Deathstroke's arsenal is as diverse as his deadly reputation, ranging from high-tech gadgets to iconic melee weapons. Before we get into his signature tools of destruction, let's start at the foundation, the indirect but crucial explosives and gadgets that reflect his tactical brilliance. These devices may not steal the spotlight, but they reveal the strategic mind behind the mercenary's methodical approach to every mission. Explosives and gadgets. Explosives and gadgets aren't the flashiest part of Deathstroke's arsenal, but they're absolutely crucial. We're talking grenades, mines, remote detonators, sabotage tools, the kind of gear that doesn't get close-up cinematic moments, but does the heavy lifting behind the scenes. Slade's use of these isn't about flashy kills. It's military-grade tactics, area denial, ambush setups, and making enemies feel like the very ground is out to get them. Before you dismiss this as generic grenade stuff, hear me out. These gadgets perfectly fit Slade's style as a super mercenary who plans 10 steps ahead rather than just relying on raw strength. He's less about one-on-one wrestling matches and more about controlling the battlefield chaos, setting traps where opponents least expect. It's the silent hand pushing the button, not the fist-breaking bones. In the comics and games like Batman, Arkham Knight, Deathstroke integrates explosives into his operations as part of a calculated strategy. The Campaign for Disarmament mission is a perfect example. Batman isn't just defusing random bombs. He's taking down a coordinated network of explosive traps tied to Slade's militia. This shows Deathstroke's preference for weaponizing the environment, forcing foes into deadly zones or narrow kill boxes. The explosions focus more on psychological pressure and strategic control than quick kills. Slade's gadgets go beyond just explosives. Remote triggers, proximity mines, sabotage devices to cripple infrastructure. They stay mostly invisible until it's too late, highlighting his mercenary ethos of efficient, low-risk elimination. If he can weaken enemies from a distance or distract them to avoid direct fights, he absolutely will. Not flashy swordplay, but cold, precise battlefield engineering. Fans rarely celebrate these gadgets like his sword or energy staff. They're part of his standard kit, often blending into the background as just military gear, rather than signature weapons. That's partly true. Few canonical sources detail these devices technically, leaving them a bit generic. But this category quietly shapes how Deathstroke fights by controlling where and how combat happens. Here's the kicker. Deathstroke's explosives and gadgets reveal a side that values planning and risk minimization over combat bravado. He's the hidden hand turning terrain and timing into lethal advantages. Not flashy, but essential to his mercenary efficiency. If gadgets seem boring, wait till you see how Deadshot-level precision marks Deathstroke's next weapon set. Sniper Rifle. Deathstroke's sniper rifle is basically the embodiment of his master marksman identity. Cool, precise, deadly, and utterly patient. This isn't some flashy futuristic railgun or energy weapon. It's your classic high-caliber, long-range sniper rifle built for reliability over style or gimmicks. And that fits Deathstroke perfectly. He's all about efficiency and control, not unnecessary flair. Before you roll your eyes thinking, oh great, another generic gun, hear me out. The sniper rifle in Slade's arsenal is a key part of his hybrid combat style. Quietly lethal, used for stealth kills from concealed vantage points where only expert patience and discipline can deliver a clean shot. It's where his cold, calculating assassin nature really shines. He doesn't rush in. He waits for the moment the enemy is most vulnerable, then disappears before they even know what hit them. While the Arkham game series, especially Arkham City and Arkham Knight, showcases Deathstroke's proficiency with ranged weapons, the sniper rifle itself is not featured consistently in his hands or prominently within the environments he controls. Instead, those games lean heavier on his melee skills and hand-to-hand combat, with only occasional references to long-range marksman ability. Outside of the Arkham games, some comic appearances nod to his sniper skills, but the rifle often takes a backseat to his more iconic weapons like the Prometheum sword or energy staff. This fits Deathstroke's mercenary ethos perfectly. A sniper rifle allows him to avoid unnecessary risk, strike without exposing himself, and maintain deniability. It's all about tactical control. Soften the target or take out key threats before engaging in direct combat. Think of it as the opening move in his deadly chess game. Why get into a gunfight up close when you can pick your shots from the shadows and force enemies to stumble blind? Plus, it underscores a side of Deathstroke fans love to talk about, his status as an exceptional sharpshooter, one who's as deadly with a scope as he is with a sword. That said, the sniper rifle is somewhat overshadowed by the flashier melee weapons in terms of character branding and fan passion. While many fans praise Deathstroke's marksmanship overall, the rifle usually doesn't get deep individual characterization or flashy signature status like his sword or staff. It's more like the reliable silent partner in the background of his arsenal, always there, always effective, just not the star. Still, the evidence is consistent and solid. He regularly uses sniper rifles and stealth ops. Sniper kills are a hallmark of his approach, and players often see ranged precision featured in games where Deathstroke lives up to his deadly reputation at distance. So, while the sniper rifle isn't the weapon you'd immediately picture when you think Deathstroke, it's absolutely essential to how he controls a fight and how he shapes his battlefield. But if you think precision strikes from a hidden perch are all there is to his ranged game, wait until you see what happens when he dual-wields pistols at point-blank range. Dual pistols. Deathstroke's dual pistols are a signature part of his arsenal that scream tactical preparedness and lethal precision. They're not just flashy props for the cool factor. These compact semi-automatic handguns symbolize his rapid-fire mid-range dominance and flexibility in combat. Unlike some oversized or gimmicky weapons, Slade's pistols are designed for quick draw, redundancy, and uninterrupted shooting, perfectly matching his mercenary mindset. Before you roll your eyes at the classic "two guns are better than one" trope, hear me out. Deathstroke's enhanced reflexes and precision make dual wielding more than just style. Realistically, firing with accuracy from both hands at once is a nightmare for most shooters. But Slade's superhuman coordination lets him confidently maintain tight aim while unleashing a hail of bullets. This isn't some clumsy gunfighting stunt, it's a combat multiplier. Visually, the pistols fit his color scheme and armor design, blending lethal function with unmistakable branding. In the comics and animated adaptations, Slade fluidly uses these pistols for room clearing and suppressive fire. He's just as likely to be flipping through the air, firing two guns in a synchronized rhythm as he dispatches foes, combining acrobatics with advanced gadgetry. This dual wielding isn't limited to raw firepower. It's about maintaining control over chaotic battle conditions while layering his attacks with smoke grenades or flashbangs. What's clever here is how the pistols embody Deathstroke's obsession with contingencies. Carrying two sidearms means he's always ready if one jams or runs dry. It guarantees continuous fire without pause, letting Slade adapt mid-fight to unpredictable threats. This mindset is pure professional mercenary. Never rely on a single tool when you can have overlapping backups. The dual pistols are a compact, mobile solution for fast, flexible engagements that razor-sharp reflexes back up. But here's where it gets interesting. While fans agree these pistols showcase Slade's extraordinary hand-eye coordination, they don't rate as iconic as his energy staff or Prometheum sword. The pistols are more grounded in conventional firearm design and don't carry the same mythic weight. They're deadly reliable workhorses rather than visual centerpieces. That said, in most depictions, including comics and animated shows, they're consistently presented as crucial mid-range weapons, reinforcing their canon status without elevating them to legendary status. Notably, in the Arkhamverse, Deathstroke's firearm use leans more on a single pistol rather than the signature dual wield seen elsewhere. There's also fan debate over the practicality of dual pistols. Some argue carrying and firing two guns simultaneously sacrifices accuracy for style. Others point out Slade's enhanced physiology makes him an exception to this rule. Critics say no real-world shooter could hit precise targets with two pistols at once. Slade's reflexes and training let him turn an impractical technique into a tactical advantage. It's the kind of detail that separates a generic gunslinger from a superhuman assassin. In summary, Deathstroke's dual pistols perfectly reflect his mercenary philosophy. Be deadly, be prepared, and carry layered options to operate effectively under any circumstance. They provide rapid-fire suppression, tactical redundancy, and mobility within close to mid-range fights, traits that complement his swordsmanship and gadget use. Not the flashiest or most iconic weapons in his lineup, but essential tools that demonstrate just how lethal and adaptable Slade really is when two triggers are better than one. If you think the dual pistols are cool, wait until you see how Slade's energy staff turns his versatility up to 11. Energy staff. Deathstroke's energy staff is basically his Swiss Army knife of weapons, and it's as deadly as it is versatile. Also called the energy lance or power staff, this isn't your typical metal stick. It's a high-tech melee weapon with energy blast capabilities at both ends, firing lethal or non-lethal shots depending on what Slade needs. That dual function alone sets it apart, blending ranged and close combat perfectly. Before you picture just a fancy baton, hear me out. The staff is partly made from volatile Prometheum alloy, the same nearly indestructible metal that makes Deathstroke's armor and sword legendary. Prometheum's durability means the staff can take a beating and keep going, with a design that's rugged and energy efficient. It's not just tough, it's multifunctional. Besides firing energy blasts, it also has a built-in grapple, letting Deathstroke vault across environments, control the battlefield, or escape tight spots in a flash. Official sources trace the design to HIVE, marking it as custom gear engineered for a top-tier mercenary, not some off-the-shelf toy. This staff perfectly embodies Deathstrokes' mercenary philosophy. One weapon, many uses. He's not in the business of carrying a dozen gadgets. He wants max adaptability in something he can wield smoothly, whether he's firing ranged shots, engaging in brutal melee, or scaling walls. Combat-wise, Deathstrokes' staff lets him control the battle with technical flair. Up close, it's a polearm for striking, blocking, and sweeping, working with his enhanced reflexes and strength. Mid-range, it extends his reach, and at a distance, he switches to energy blasting mode, hitting targets without exposing himself. The grapple adds another layer, allowing him to close the gap fast or reposition creatively, turning urban skylines into his playground. This range and brutal function make the staff unique in his arsenal. It's simultaneously a weapon of intimidation. Its glowing ends and sleek design send a clear message, and a practical tool that embraces modern tech without losing lethal efficiency. Fans widely recognize it as iconic, and it's visually inseparable from many modern portrayals of Deathstroke, giving Slade a distinct silhouette even in crowded action scenes. But here's where it gets weird. While everyone calls it an energy staff, some sources say energy lance or power staff, with debate about terminology and subtle function differences. Some versions emphasize the grapple more, others lean into the energy blast. The confusion shows how the weapon evolves with each new appearance, like Slade adapts to new challenges. But the constant is that this weapon bridges ranged and close combat like no other tool he uses. In raw effectiveness, the energy staff isn't just flashy tech, it's a brutally efficient fighting system. The promethium alloy means it won't shatter or bend. Combined with energy blasts from both ends, it's as deadly throwing a punch as firing a shot. Add the grapple and Deathstroke can control distance perfectly, escaping danger or closing in for a kill with surgical precision. What this means for Deathstroke's style is huge. The staff literally lets him have it all: mobility, offense, defense, and intimidation, all in one weapon. It turns combat into a fluid dance where he controls space and timing, adapting on the fly to whatever the mission demands. Fans love this about the staff. It's the perfect visual metaphor for Deathstroke's approach: sophisticated tech wrapped around raw, brutal skill. It shows off his tactical mind. Slade's not just relying on strength or guns, he's integrating gear that gives him the upper hand in multiple combat scenarios. Whether grappling up walls, blasting foes, or slugging it out in melee, the energy staff symbolizes how he dominates through versatility and tech-enhanced lethality. So yeah, it's more than just a fancy pole. It's Deathstroke's ultimate expression of multifunctional efficiency. A lethal Swiss Army knife that's as much a tool of intimidation as a weapon. And if you think that's impressive, wait until we break down how his fighting style ties all these tools together next. His signature combination fighting style. More than just a series of punches and kicks, Deathstroke's fighting style is a full-on combat system. An integrated choreography of strikes, grapples, counters, and seamless weapon transitions designed to overwhelm and dominate. It's not just about swinging a sword or shooting a gun, it's about turning his entire body and arsenal into a single lethal weapon made to end conflicts efficiently and brutally. Before you think this is some generic superhero kung fu, hear me out. What sets Slade apart isn't just his moves, it's how those moves flow together, powered by his enhanced physiology, tactical genius, and merciless training. Games like Batman, Arkham Origins give us a rare window into that flow, where every strike, counter, and grapple is chained fluidly into complex sequences that look impossible for any normal human to pull off. Martial arts breakdowns of his animations reveal real-world combat roots behind what might initially seem like exaggerated superhero flair, blending styles from boxing, Krav Maga, and jiu-jitsu into something uniquely his own. For example, one famed combo from Arkham Origins starts with Deathstroke absorbing an incoming attack with his arm guard, then counters with a swift elbow strike that stuns before flowing into a devastating punch and finishing with a spinning kick that sends the opponent flying several meters across the room. Another combo showcases a shoulder cradle lock that looks like it came straight from a grappling tutorial, turning an elbow shot into a joint lock that's as much about control and leverage as it is about doing damage. This isn't random spectacle, it's precision engineering of movement, maximizing damage output while maintaining perfect balance and speed. His fighting style leverages his superhuman strength, speed, reflexes, and endurance to execute these multi-step sequences perfectly, keeping opponents off balance at every turn. Whether he's chaining together 5 or 6 attacks in a row, or switching between melee and ranged weaponry seamlessly, he maintains absolute control of the fight's tempo. Every strike sets up the next. Every weapon he wields, whether sword, staff, or firearm, is part of a seamless arsenal rather than a collection of separate tools. He'll block an incoming sword slash with his staff, shoot from his pistol while retreating, then close the distance with a brutal elbow strike or knife jab, flowing from one form of offense to another without missing a beat. This adaptability to shift between close quarters and ranged attacks is key to his success as a mercenary. Here's the thing. This style is a perfect fit for a fighter who values efficiency and adaptability above all else. Slade's whole ethos is to end fights quickly and decisively, using whatever works best in the moment, even if that means improvising on the fly. Turning his whole body plus weapons into a fluid, lethal platform means he can adjust tactics instantly based on opponent, environment, or changing circumstances in battle. It's less about flashy moves, and more about smart, economical destruction. It's a dance of precision, deadly adaptability, and psychological dominance, letting him control the pace and flow of combat rather than just reacting passively. And every time he steps in, you know he's the biggest problem the other guys ever faced. Fans and analysts alike rave about this choreography as one of the most thoughtfully realized fighting styles in superhero media. It's rare to see such an intricate blend of martial arts mechanics, weapon usage, and superhuman attributes come together so cohesively, nailing both believability and cinematic flair simultaneously. Forums and fan channels dedicated to dissecting Arkham Origins gameplay regularly highlight Slade's combos as a gold standard for how superhero combat can look both grounded in reality and thrilling to watch. Detailed frame-by-frame breakdowns even point out subtle details like how his footwork positions him perfectly for follow-up attacks, or how his grip on weapons shifts mid-combo for optimal leverage. But here's where it gets a little weird. Despite how iconic and instantly recognizable this fighting style is in animations and fan analyses, it's less formally documented in the official DC text canon. Most character bios simply state he's a master swordsman and marksman with enhanced physicality, but don't break down his techniques in detail, leaving fans to infer his style primarily from visual media and gameplay. Most of what we really know about his signature combos comes from the Arkham games and passionate martial arts fans interpreting what's on screen, sometimes even reading between the lines of comic book panels to get a sense of timing and flow. Still, that doesn't make it any less real in how it defines him. The blend of raw power, tactical cunning, and seamless weapon transitions creates a fighting style that's more than gear. It's a lethal system that turns his body into the deadliest weapon in the room. It's the reason he's fought and beaten some of the most dangerous heroes and villains alike. And if you think that's impressive, wait until you see what Deathstrokes' Prometheum Sword brings to the table. Prometheum Sword. Deathstrokes' Prometheum Sword isn't just a weapon, it's the ultimate symbol of what makes Slade Wilson the deadliest mercenary in the DC universe. While he's known for many weapons, this sword stands above the rest, crafted from volatile promethium, the rarest and strongest metal alloy in existence. We're talking about a blade with near-indestructible, self-regenerating properties that actively absorbs energy. No ordinary steel can hold a candle to this. Before you start thinking it's just a fancy sword, hear me out. Promethium isn't some made-up superhero metal that just looks cool. It's the kind of stuff that literally reshapes how a weapon behaves. This alloy heals itself, regenerating damage faster than most metals would break. Its energy-absorbing capabilities mean it can soak up blasts and attacks that would wreck regular weapons, making it a terrifying tool on the battlefield. And that's not a casual claim. Slade's own healing factor is said to help him wield the volatile promethium safely because the metal can be dangerous to handle otherwise. Only him could pull off using such a volatile blade without it backfiring. The sword's design is usually shown as a large broadsword, giving it that imposing "I'm here to finish this" vibe. But Slade has also been known to wield twin promethium katanas depending on the story. What makes the promethium blade truly brutal is how it slices through nearly everything. Armor, weapons, even materials that should, in theory, resist cutting. There are countless times where Slade's sword cleaves through enemies' defenses like butter. It's the perfect deadly finishing weapon, a clear message that the fight is over and the mercenary's work is done. But here's where it gets weird in the best way. Fans have elevated this sword to near mythical status, debating endlessly about its exact limits. Does it cut through any energy attack? Can it absorb infinite amounts of power? Is there anything in the DC multiverse strong enough to stand up to it? Officially, the canon doesn't give clear, hard limits. Those specifics are left open, and that ambiguity only fuels the legend. Community discussions sometimes credit the sword with activating dormant metagenes through its energy absorption, meaning it could interact with superhuman powers on a level that makes it more than just a blade. This mix of mystery, technological exclusivity, and brutal effectiveness fits Slade's mercenary style perfectly. Fitting, indeed. The Promethium sword is the embodiment of Slade's identity, a lethal combination of elite technology and raw, superhuman physicality. It's exclusive enough that very few mercenaries, let alone enemies, could wield one without disastrous consequences. And Slade's healing factor isn't just a neat bonus. It's a necessity, making the sword a physical extension of his meta-human prowess and mental toughness. Carrying a volatile Promethean blade isn't for the faint of heart, and Deathstrokes' mastery over it speaks volumes about his relentless efficiency. The sword's symbolic power goes beyond just killing enemies. It's a visual call-out. When you see Slade pull out that gleaming Promethean blade, you know the fight just got serious. It's often the weapon he uses to deliver the final brutal cut that turns the tide, shattering guards, cleaving down armored foes, and cutting through whatever's thrown at him. Nothing complicated, no tricks. Just pure, direct, unequivocal lethality. And that's not just speculation. Canonical evidence strongly backs the sword's tie to Prometheum, from comics detailing its creation at Dayton Industries to references that link the metal's volatile, regenerative qualities to Slade's mesh armor and staff as well. The consistent portrayal means this isn't a one-off gimmick, but a foundational element of his character design through multiple continuities. So what's the takeaway? Deathstrokes' Prometheum sword closes this ranking not just as a top-tier weapon, but as the ultimate statement of who he is. A mercenary whose edge is unmatched, combining rare, dangerous tech with unstoppable skill and healing. It slices through defenses, doubts, and enemies alike. More than anything else in his kit, this sword perfectly captures Slade Wilson's lethal essence and his place as the DC Universe's deadliest assassin. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, click the video on the screen now.